few nights ago, I attended a wedding of a young couple, both Bali Tshuva. They had just become frum, and their respective families were non-observant, and they had no clue, no idea as to how the ceremony is supposed to take place. So of course they were going along with whatever they were told. You do this now, don't do this. And when it came finally that time for the euphoric simcha, that time when the groom, when the chassan breaks the glass, and usually everyone jumps into spontaneous simcha and the chassan and kala are being hugged by their parents, over here they were frozen. The chassan and kala were excited and everyone's going, and they turned around to the father, and the father looks at them, and what should I do now? Is this part of the ceremony or not? Until we had to tell him that no, of course, let your joy come out, let your emotions spill over. And of course, he gave him a huge, tremendous beer hug, understanding and reflecting the feelings that were going on, obviously, at that time in his heart. But I think it's a parable of sorts to what we go through life. We many times feel inadequate. We feel frozen. Should I take the next step? Who am I to get involved? What am I after all? I'm not one of the leaders. I'm not one of the greatest askanim. So what should I do? I think Parshat Pinchas explains to us exactly not only what we should do, but how important and how integral and how chashuv it is, specifically those who don't think it's their place, to step up to the plate and to do for Klal Yisrael. The Parsha tells us how Moshe Rabbeinu, Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen, Shivim Zekenim, the entire hierarchy of Klal Yisrael forgot a halacha. Why did they forget the halacha? Kedei sheyavei Pinchas v'yikach esheloi. So Pinchas should come v'yital and to take a schus, to merit a tremendous opportunity for himself, to get tremendous brachas. Why would it be that all of Klal Yisrael, those that could paskin, those that are meirei hera, those who are leaders should forget a halacha just so Pinchas should come? And secondly, Pinchas, who was at that time a commoner, chashuv yichus, but he himself wasn't the leader of the generation. He gets brisi shalom, he gets to live forever in some realm. And Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't get any of those brachas. He gets kahuna, not Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu has done so much more for Klal Yisrael. What was in this act that was so special and that Pinchas merited it so much? There was once an individual who owed a lot of money. And he had two friends who were trying to help him out. The first would go over to all the people he owed money to and say, please give him some time. Let him get back to his feet. Give him 6 months. Give him a year. And there was another individual who had a different tactic. He said, he owes so much money. Give him an opportunity to start again. I know it's unfortunate. It's hard. Let him pay you 50 cents on the dollar. And let's just call it quits. And let's move on with life. And they asked him afterwards, who did the bigger chesed for you? He said, of course, the second one. I'm Makar Toiv. I appreciate both of them and their efforts. But by the first one, I still had the chayv, I still had the responsibility of paying back. I didn't have menuchas nefesh. I knew in 6 months from now, in a year from now, if my fortunes don't turn, I'm going to have to pay back this person. But by the second one, yes, it was unfortunate. I couldn't pay them dollar for dollar. But at least I was absolved from that responsibility. And I felt in some way I had paid up. We can move on from that past and I have a new chance for a brighter future. When Moshe Rabbeinu took care of the Egel, Klal Yisrael sinned, Moshe Rabbeinu intervened. He was the liaison. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, great, I'll stop the Magefa. But he didn't absolve Klal Yisrael totally of their iniquity, totally of their Averis. And we're suffering from the Maaseh Egel until today. Because Moshe Rabbeinu, as the leader, did what he had to do. But the chayv, the responsibility, the loan was still out there and was still on our heads and didn't give us and doesn't give us that menuchas nefesh. But Pinchas, when it came to his act, he obliterated it. It was erased from the entire video. It didn't happen in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mind. Because Pinchas vayokem mitoich ha'eda, he was one of the regulars, one of the simple people. He didn't have to do this. He wasn't the leader. And he stepped up to the plate and said, I will do. That's HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, he represented Klal Yisrael. Then the whole entire Chil Hashem was erased by Pinchas' Kiddush Hashem. And there was nothing, no loan, ever riding on our heads again. We never suffered from Isa Zimri from that point and on. That's the idea when sometimes we're frozen, we look to a Pinchas and we say, yes, I can also do it. I see there's a problem in Klal Yisrael. There are maladies. There are issues. There are things I'd like to do better. I'd like to help other people. Who am I? I'm young. I'm not an askin. I'm not a leader. I'm not wealthy. Who's looking to me anyways? You do. Be the Pinchas in your dar. Be the Pinchas in your community. Be the Pinchas in your family. Be the Pinchas for yourself. Become that person who at a time was just a quote-unquote a simpleton. But he was Zeicha Dafka, the brachas of Brisi Shalom, to live forever on some realm. Because Pinchas was unique. He was someone who didn't have to. And yet he stepped in anyways. And that's why he was Zeicha to brachas that even Moshe Rabbeinu didn't get. Have a wonderful Shabbos.